Hello everyone, it's Kay here again, and today I'm back with more inspiration from the lovely Sabrina I from her YouTube channel. And I did recommend that people went over and had a look, and thank you to those who did and to those of you who subscribed, because I really do feel this young lady is worth a mention. And following on from more of her channel, I have again had this really light bulb moment where I wanted to immediately craft from something that I'd seen on YouTube, and so I went about it, and this is what I've come up with. And it is a pocket card. If I just go out slightly so that you can see it, Sabby was actually showing people how to make pockets and envelopes for junk journals, and I just got it into my head that not only could it be used on junk journals, it could also be used to make a card. And I went ahead following her instructions for the little pocket here on a background of a book, which has, I'm afraid, been cannibalised, but as I bought it from a charity shop and it had already been very well used, I decided I wasn't really causing any offence to the literary world. But if I have, then I'm one of many, and their books are just being utilised in a different way. So this is the card, and what it is the front pocket. As you see, the flap opens up here, and inside I've put a couple of little tags, just decorated again with more of the paper. I'll bring it up closer so that you can see. I've put lace around the peaked aspect of the envelope and used this lovely little coat hanger to make a little dingle dangle for the front part of the envelope pocket. That then folds over like so, and I've just taken the time to stitch around here with the herringbone stitch on my machine. I've decorated with a tiny little motif, some filigree and a pearl, and inside the little pocket here it is just a secret. It's lovely. You could put in gift cards, you could put in anything that you like. I've made a paperclip decoration using a butterfly, a little bit of bling, more from the book, more of the lace that I used to decorate the inside flap of the pocket, and that just sits in there beautifully. It's got the paper on the back to finish and hide all the workings of the paperclip, and those are such fun to do. And then in the top here, from a piece of lace I've just cut out, I think I might have bought this lace from Scrimping Mommy, as she was then. Now it's Amanda Charlesworth, who is a Stampin' Up consultant on YouTube, but still does a lot of shabby chic work and so on. So lots of ladies have been here in spirit, if not in person, and I've used items that I've got from them. The inside of the card then is lined, as I always do, and I've just used my Martha Stewart punch, used it again just to marry up all the components of the card and put it all together like so. The back of the card is plain. I'll probably put my own little stamp on there at some point, but essentially I'm going to show you the basics of making something like this today. So I've used again a craft card, and I took an ordinary A4 piece of card like so, and I have cut it down. It's in actuality 5 3/4 inches wide by just over 6 3/4 inches in length, but I took it to my scoreboard as an A4 sheet of card and I tend to use my groovy board for making cards. Just laid out the A4 card. Turn it up the other way. Did I? Yes, because I've actually cut it down. Laid on the A4 card and scored at the A5 standard, if anyone out there is still using this board, and I then turned it over and rescored to break up the fibres in the card. Folded it in half by taking it up to the edge here and just lightly scoring, because I do like that rounded aspect that doing that brings to a card. It just makes it a little bit more as though it's come from a shop and it's a professional round, which I've always liked to achieve in my cards. So I'll move that one out of the way. I then cut it down to the size that I spoke about before, and using my envelope punch board I just rounded the corners simply as you do by slotting it into the back bit of the enveloper and punching down. So in effect, you know, it is all really straightforward as far as a card base goes. Now this is Sabby's bit, and I'm taking great delight in showing you, because I do believe she is. She's not new, she's not showing anything new, but her enthusiasm in what she does is just contagious. So there we are. What you do is get two pieces of paper from a book, whatever it is you decide you'd like to use. I've rounded the corners again, and this piece is 6 1/4 by 5. And the next piece you need is 5 by whatever the length of your page. Now I've chosen a book that is approximately 8.5 inches page length, and that works really well. And then it comes down to some folding, and in an ideal world you fold with your paper upside down and back to front, so that once the pocket is made you're still able, if you want to read the words on the page. And you'll see from previous scores here that I didn't actually get it right the first time. It takes a little bit of working at, but it's worth persevering. So having got your page at the length by 5, you then come to the page, fold it in half like so, and pinch along the edge there, and no more. You want the rest to be quite flat. You then lie your paper down on your craft mat, and you make these little fold-ins like so. So you've actually got then the peak of your envelope. This is the top flap, and then leave a line of print, which is the easiest way to explain it, and fold that piece over like so. And it's a bit like making an aeroplane, a paper aeroplane, if you've ever done that for your grandchildren. Having done that, you then bring the base of your page up to that fold and score just like so. So then there is your envelope. And to finish and strengthen the top part of the page, because it does become a pocket, you fold back that area like so, and there is the completed pocket. Now what you do then is attach that to the base page, and there is the front of your card, or a pocket for your journal page, or whatever you'd like to choose. But to make the card that I'm showing you today, you need to either glue it in this area, which is the side of the pocket, this area, the other side of the pocket, and then the base. I would recommend a good wet glue, or perhaps some red line tape to anchor it down. You leave the top aspect here clear so that you can use it to put some little gifty bits in, or as I did, a couple of tags or the paperclip embellishment, and as you can see it will fit and sit in there really quite well. So that is the base of the front of your card, and then it's about decoration. If you have a sewing machine, having anchored it down, you can then just sew around the pocket, sew around the flap to make it even more sturdy, ink it, pretty it up in a way that suits you, which is what I've done earlier, as they say in all the best videos. And it is just a question of stitching around and making everything secure. I have inked again using the Holz Ditress ink vintage photo, which is ever popular when you're making something that is supposed to look old and well loved. And that is that. If you don't have a sewing machine, then if you have a dark marker, you can of course do the faux stitching just by lining up your ruler like this, getting your marker and just making little stitch marks all the way around, and that just gives it the whole effect that I've achieved here. Not everyone has these things, and I do feel blessed that I have these things that I've collected over many years. So going back to the card base, you then put it centrally on the card like so. Again, you can either use a wet glue or you can use red line tape. You do want something that will anchor it really well, and for the moment I'm just going with this, if I can make it work, this glue, and you just put it all the way around the edge. This is not going to work very well for me. I think I've probably got the nozzle a little bit congested, but you don't need much. You just want to be able to anchor it down. Remember to do the middle of your page as well, because houses, unfortunately, with the best will in the world, tend to hold moisture, and if you don't attack the middle of your page and anchor it down, over a period of time the recipient will find that it's bubbling up in the front, and then you just place that strategically on the front of your card and just anchor it down. If you get a little bit of glue bubbling, don't worry, when it dries all will be well. And that then is your card ready to put further embellishments on to decorate to your taste. I just used some of this beautiful trim and cut it out to suit my needs and put it over the top. Again, a motif on the front, which I just inked with the Distress ink and placed there with a little filigree embellishment. It's entirely up to you how you decorate your card, but once you have the base in, the world is your oyster, so to speak. And as I say, I always line my cards. So I have the card center here, which you can see I have cut down to size and cut out my borders from my punch, and you can either again glue this down through the center, or if you want extra security you can use your red line glue to keep it in place, and it is just putting it into the seam like so and running your finger down through. This I have simply decorated using the Distress ink, and I've got one of these fussy old brushes here which is ideal for the purpose of decorating or colouring this little piece here, and I just stab it into the punch and roughly decorate the edges with the glue. And that really is all it's about. It just adds that little bit of aging without being too clumsy or too heavy. And needless to say, any border punch that you have will suffice. It's just that this one is a ribbon effect, and so it suits the purpose very, very well. And you just decorate like so. And then it's back to the PVA glue, and you don't need a whole lot. I have, as you see, rounded the corners, so I tend to take this back away from that, because rounded corners are a decoration in their own right when you're making a project like this. And you just make sure your print is up the right way and wiggle it into place on your insert like so. That still leaves ample room for putting in your message or a bit more decoration. So I should do exactly the same on the other side. On camera helps. Not that I'm teaching you anything new, it's just showing you how I do things myself. And again, making sure your print is lined up with the inner aspect of the card, and that you are not putting it upside down from the front. There is the card ready to be signed off to someone and sent in the post once you've completed decorating the front. I don't believe it will be very expensive to send through the post, because at the end of the day it's all relatively flat, and that is how I came to make this really lovely card that I'm quite pleased with here. Now, if someone would like this card, I am quite happy to post it out to you. Just leave a little message below this video that says, "Post it to me, Kay, please," and I'll put all your names into a little hat, and Gary and I will pick a winner this time next week. So thank you for sharing this time with me as always. It's never taken for granted, and I'll look forward to reading your comments and hopefully writing your name out so that you can take part in this giveaway. Thank you very much. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye bye for now.